Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Today we're talking about one of the best features of Star Citizen Alpha 3.18, and it's an offshoot of the cargo refactor. It's soft deaths. So we've had a load of new info about the mechanics and some dev responses too. So what are soft deaths in Alpha 3.18? Instead of your ship always exploding and killing the crew when it dies or when you kill a ship, appropriate ships will have a 70% chance of not exploding, so that's a 30% chance of exploding, and ships that explode, they will sort of explode with 0 to 90% of their cargo coming out of them in one SCU boxes. However, the ships that don't explode, which will be most of them, will permanently be disabled and effectively destroyed, but you will be able to salvage them, to board them, and their cargo will be retrievable as it's still on board. As Alpha 3.18 also has the physicalization of commodity cargo, well that means, well, there's reasons to genuinely go aboard a player's ship after you've disabled it effectively and loot it. So realistically, this makes piracy, recovery, and a huge amount of associated gameplay now viable. There is something more to this though. Those 70% of ships that don't explode will have, if they've got player crew, those player crew will survive. NPC crews will still be killed when a ship is disabled like this, but players will live. So they can then call in help or put up some service beacons and or defend their ship from the intruders. So it's worth noting as well that all doors unlock on ships that are considered destroyed, so you can't sort of lock a door and then hide behind it permanently. This is a massive chunk of new gameplay for Star Citizen and gives legitimacy to piracy, looting, recovery. Reasons to not just like detonate yourself with a self-destruct. I'm not even sure how self-destruct works anymore. Boarding actions could be pretty brutal, leaving the pirates in some cases on the losing side, even if they won the ship battle, if they aren't careful, because I mean you could sneak aboard the pirate ship and steal it as one of the crew of the losing ship, as the destroyed ship. Players just hiding on ships as well and just waiting there for a while, that's going to be especially dangerous and be very funny. It could be hilarious on like a Mercury Star Runner where there are loads of little sort of events and hidey holes that you could run around in. We had some additional information and dev responses about these soft death mechanics as well. Let me read you some questions and answers on Spectrum from CIG's Mark Abent. Soft death. Will it be possible to finish off a ship? The introduction of soft death is very exciting, since there will be a 70% chance that the crew will stay alive. Will it be possible to completely destroy a ship by continuing to shoot at it, even after a soft death? So Mark Abent replied here, in 3.18 Evocati, soft death is no longer percent-based in the sense of 70% chance of occurring. It is now directly tied to the health of a critical part reaching 0. There's an additional health phase thereafter, which once hit will advance the soft death to a regular death. The buffer tends to be higher in larger ships to favour them reaching soft death more frequently than smaller ships, so you'll want to be careful with your shots if you want to facilitate soft death over a regular death. The buffer size and mechanism will be tweaked based on feedback and analytics. So yes, you can now finish off a vehicle. What will happen to medical bays if self-destruct is activated before a ship goes into soft death? Again, Mark responds, curious to know what the community thinks of self-destruct and soft death. Right now, if you self-destruct prior to soft death, then soft death, then the self-destruct will still go off, resulting in the vehicle going into regular death. So it sort of goes in a chain, yeah? You lose control over the self-destruct item after a ship is considered soft death, so you won't be able to set it off after a vehicle is in the soft destroy state. On one hand, we can cancel self-destruct after soft death, thus preventing the targeted vehicle from sabotaging the attacker's spoils. On the other hand, if you invoke it prior to soft death, you one-up the attacker, assuming they wanted you in the soft damage state. I ponder how split people will be depending on your playstyle, PvP versus PvE. I do think it's worth players getting involved in that conversation, even at this stage, even if they haven't tried it, just to have a chat about it. But please bear in mind that your thoughts and may change quite significantly once you have it in your hands. Don't always assume the worst situation where it's just going to be sort of pirate's paradise and it's just going to be sort of mega chaos everywhere. See how it actually plays out and what seems sensible. So there was a response to this. Honestly, not a fan of this. Should just be soft death. Which Mark then replied to, things can change, and honestly, they probably will based on feedback, but having soft death transform into full death due to pushing too much damage or overkilling brings some more interesting gameplay elements. So you can come in with the biggest guns and blast the ship away, but now you just blew it up and destroyed some cargo. Now, on the other hand, if you soft kill a ship, you now have full access to the cargo, but you have to go into the ship to get it, adds some possible danger with FPS battles. How will we know a ship has been soft-killed? Mark responds to this. We are currently recycling some VFX we use when parts detach. It causes a visual hull damage and usual set of squibs, smoke and fire all over the ship. Additionally, there are talks on how to handle it on the AR marker side. Can we shoot bits off the ship before and after death? Eventually, yes. This is what physical damage will eventually allow us to do, at least from my perspective, but we're not quite there yet. You can think of soft death as a way to pave toward more physicalized damage. Once the other systems come online, the mechanism around death will surely change. This is by no means the final system. Another question, so to confirm that I understand, for example, the main body of a ship gets to 0 health, your ships automatically will be disabled, or is there a percentage chance to be disabled, 70% or whatever, depending. Then you can damage it further for full destruction, ? Like before, reaching 0% health on a critical part will kill the ship. The exception here is that this will now soft kill. If it continues to take damage thereafter, it will be promoted to a regular death. You can overkill by pushing too much damage at once, missiles, or continue to shoot it with heavy weapons in relation to the ship's size. Using a Corsair on a poor M50 will sure make the M50 die a regular death. There was another response just saying, feels like the OP wants to justify being that guy, being able to destroy ships after their soft death. Mark again responds, nah, I believe the discussion is fair. We are in the beginning stages of changing the fundamentals of how we handle vehicle death and damage. It has everlasting effects depending on your playstyle. Open discussions should be encouraged and welcomed. In another thread, I saw soft death, escape pod, and ejection. Can we use ejection seats before and after soft deaths? And will that have the potential to blow our ships up? In 3.18 Evocati, we have introduced testing for soft death, and I can see us toying with allowing ejection with a vehicle in a soft death state. Whether or not it stays true will be depending on feedback and design iteration. Boom! That's it for your updates on Alpha 3.18's soft deaths today. As I said, it's by no means the finalized systems. It is sort of a placeholder for until we get sort of physical damage and physicalized components and that resource management system. But I'm really excited for the inclusion of this in Alpha 3.18. But what do you think? Are you worried this will embolden pirates to consistently and constantly attack players? And do you want to be hunting down criminals and escorting cargo and mining ships? Do you think it will just make the game sort of like more flesh to its bones and more interesting? Or do you foresee problems? Will Cloud Imperium be able to make their 3.18 live release by mid-December? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below.
Hello, I'm Winston Churchill, and I use NordVPN to defend the Internet Empire. We will fight the ants on the beaches. We shall fight on the Internet. We shall fight the trackers and the malware. Whether we want to watch Netflix for another country or have greater accessibility to the Internet, we will defend our island home. At any rate, that is what we're programmed to do.
Thanks, Winston Churchill. What? What do you mean, Zin? That wasn't Winston Churchill? Point still stands. Go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer to get yourself discounted NordVPN, or use the links below. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For November, we're giving away a Crusader Spirit C1. It's a fantastic looking multi-role ship that can fit a vehicle in the back or a load of cargo, and it looks really cool. It's got loads of forward-facing weaponry and a tractor beam. As it's a concept ship though, the winner will have a Cutlass back in the meantime as a loaner. It comes with access to the game and lifetime insurance too, so bam! Even if you don't have Star Citizen stuff yet, you can get straight into the game with this. It's all you need. Just comment on any of my videos this month to be in for a chance of winning. a massive thank you to everyone that has used the join button under my videos to become a channel member, and my Patreons. You guys are awesome. It really does help the channel. Please consider becoming one of those lovely people too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the verse.